What are your thoughts on JYD from back then?
JYD, when I first knew JYD, he came in and he was so bad we sent him away. He was Sylvester DeRitter. But he came back and they did that angle with his eyes.
Right.
And it was just like a magical thing. And going back to what I said, hometown pitch. See, Dog, they thought Dog was just part of it. And they suffered through his, so-called blindness. And he just got over. And, really and truly, he never did that much in the ring. But he didn't have to. He didn't have to.
What about Ernie Ladd?
Ernie Ladd, good friend of mine. Yeah, Ernie Ladd was good. Ernie Ladd, he had a lot of good ideas. And, he was a wrestler's wrestler. He'd always back him.
How about Magnum TA? What are your memories of Magnum?
Magnum TA didn't really work around Magnum that much. Kamal and I went into a couple of their bashes and we worked with him.
Right.
But I liked him. He was a good guy. I really did.
Do you think he would have been pretty much the next big breakout star if he didn't get in a car accident?
Could have been. If Crockett would have stayed in business, he would have.
Right.
Crockett was the catalyst there.
Now, you worked a lot with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Obviously, you did the big angle with him with the cigar.
Uh-huh.
How was he like to work with?
Great. Great. Jim was a businessman.
What about outside the ring? Was he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was a nice guy.
How about Andre? Because I know he came to the territory.
Andre was good. Yeah, Andre was good. While we're on the subject too, Ric Flair, in 1972, I went to Japan. And here's another good one for you. And Dick and Dusty and Les Wolf, when we took him over there, he was a rookie. Rick weighed 295 pounds. I had some pictures. I don't know what happened to him. Had a burr haircut. And he was a rookie. We made him shave his head. And we went over there for Yoshihara, and he'd have those cage matches, and for no apparent reason at all. So, of course, we'd always have 4 or 5, and Rick maybe had 1. So, but we ribbed him so bad and everything. His first cage match, you had to, get the Clairol and gaff a little bit. So, we were in a small arena where you could see what was going on, and he could yell back at the dressing room. So really and truly did, and it was coming pretty good. And he looked back there and he said, "Well, I guess that's not enough blood for you guys." And hey, pap smear, boy, pap smear.
Right.
And then we'd make him go in those liquor stores, that Spirit of '76. And the last night we were in Hiroshima, getting ready to go back to Tokyo, and they had ribbed him. He was from Minnesota and they were Texas, everything Texas. So we would all go out, and so we didn't see Rick for a couple of nights. So he was getting ready to meet his future wife or something in Honolulu. So he gets back to the room early, and he said, "Hack," he said, "don't tell them guys where I'm at. Please, I got to get some rest." And he went out and he had his little laundry folded. I looked in his room, had it all folded up in his bed. So here comes Dickie and Dusty up this, "Hey, where's he at, Hack? Where's he at?" And I said, "He's right next door." So he beat on that door, so they got that fire extinguisher hose. And Rick opened that door and they filled out, that stuff like that snow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. The next morning was 2 feet of snow, and all those Japanese people were going crazy. And so we get to Honolulu, Hickam Field. So I said, "Rick, when will we see you again like that?" So you know what he did, don't you? Boom, boom, boom. No. But, he remembered when I saw him back in October, he'd always say, "I carried this man's bags in." But he was a pretty good sport, but he never forgave us for it. I don't think so.
Were you there when Hogan came into the Mid-South arena, I guess, and had problems with Andre? I think it was the Superdome. I know they worked there one time.
With who? Hogan?
It was Hogan came in and worked for Watts just maybe one time.
No, I don't remember that, but I'd heard that, but I didn't remember that situation.
I think it was a one-shot deal, so.
It could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been.
I guess, is there somebody that you saw that you thought would have made it and never made it from back in that era?
That's hard to say. I'm sure there was.
Or even vice versa, somebody you thought, wouldn't make it and did make it.
Well, yeah. But now, when you get down that way, I was in Georgia in '72, and Wayne Cowan. You know who Wayne Cowan is, Dutch Mantell.
Okay.
You know, and you know, he didn't really have the body, and you know, had that little country accent and everything like that. But he became a heck of a performer. He's a good guy.
A good talker too.
Good talker.
Right.
You know, but as far as the others, yes, I can. One comes to mind right now. Jeff Gaylord had everything.
I remember.
Everything. And Jeff could have been a superstar in this business. But unfortunately, you know where it went.
Right.
It never was. They never. They had this new football league, and he got the big bonus, and all of it just went to whatever.
Right.
So, but Jeff would. That was a wasted thing.
Working for Bill Watts in Mid-South Territory, what are some of the crazy experiences you might have had with some of the fans?
Well, you know, they ripped my tires several times, and they would follow me. And when I had Kamala, especially too, they'd follow. We had a van, Friday and myself and Kamala, and but we knew more or less how to lose them. And but yeah, we have fans. One night in Lake Charles, they hit me with some Drano in my eyes. A big, you know, Drano.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I thought it was acid, but I made it back to the dressing room. So for 3 hours, they washed that stuff out of my eyes. So it was pretty hairy then. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Jim Ross, who I gave Jim Ross his first announcing job when I booked for Leroy in 1978, 79.
Wow.
When Bill and he had split for a while, I went in there and I needed somebody with Leroy up there on the television. And Jim had ran a show, and then he became a referee. So he got it in his blood. But I heard him do high school football, and he has that thing that people buy into.
Right.
I always called him the Keith Jackson of wrestling. Keith Jackson college football, same thing. You know, Jim. You know, he was. He became big because he was good at what he did, and I don't know, there was something in his voice or some way that the people could relate to it.
Now, you were also there for Bill Watts when Sting and Ultimate Warrior back
Yeah,
then.
oh yes,
the
that's
Blade Runners.
UWF, yeah.
Right. What are your memories of those guys starting out?
Green.
Right.
Yeah, Green, my goodness.
Did you see the potential in Sting?
Yeah, yes, both of them, yeah. Really, out of the two, I think Sting was more advanced than Jimmy Hellwig was.
Right.
To me, he was. So they went in opposite directions, you know. One became Ultimate Warrior, and then
You went down
Sting,
all class.
yeah, Sting stayed, yeah.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.